Hey, YouTube, long time no see. What's going on? Out here doing the thing, right? Recovering from the disaster of last night's sideshow, which we didn't partake in. It's amazing how you still have to deal with some of that madness after the fact, even though you didn't watch it. Hopefully none of you did either, and spent your time more productively. But, we got 41 days to go now? Is that right? 7 weeks? 6 weeks? 41 days and a wake up? 40 days and a wake up? I don't know. Somebody put the right number, and I'll put the right number in the title maybe if I look it up. But yeah, so everybody just preparing, doing the thing, getting ready because they're worried about impending doom, concerned what could be befalling us after this sideshow ends. And I would just like to reassure everybody and say 90% of us are going to be, we're well more than prepared for what's coming. 90% of us are not going to have a problem, and we've already got what we've got and need what we need and train what we train, and we're going to be just fine, and that's good. So just reassure some people that the end is not nigh for most of us. Now 10% of us could see some, what would be the word, issues. Some things may go astray. There was a guy on Twitter when the Louisville thing went down with that verdict, or the non-indictment, I guess you'd say. He was in Louisville and tracking the rioting coming close, and he was on the verge of getting out of his main position there and moving to another location. But that was interesting to find. You know, it does impact some people, especially if you're in a city. And as we've said, the ones in the cities are going to be the most impacted, where the most people are. So be forewarned is forearmed or whatever. So probably don't have a chance to get out of the cities in the next 6 weeks. So those of you that are in the cities would be the ones I would most be concerned about. But just a tip here, working on some extra cardboard we got sourced from a source. Sourcing some free cardboard to use for targets, cutting them up, making them targets and whatnot. Just some thoughts to people to augment your training regime. For a long time, reactive targets have been very popular as the train a motor thought on how to train. And that's good because the sound reaction, steel targets, things like that, having that immediate feedback allows you to bump target to target to target, right? And get that speed reaction down, and being able to do drills like that is good and useful. But I wouldn't, especially maybe now mixed up these last 6 weeks, take something, not a full silhouette like that, that's standard range type stuff. Make you something, break up the outline. We've used the preferred color of the enemy for this section. I've got some other colors that are just old leftover paint job stuff. We got some browns and greens we're going to use too, but use red and black on these first couple. And get different sizes, low level silhouette, larger targets, mix them up how big they are to be able to adjust your eyeball to what is needed, aim small, miss small type deals. But also when you start shooting these things at a longer range, you'll see how your eyeball reacts to center mass on seeing something that's not a straight outline. It may have changed it may not. Everybody's eyeballs are a little bit different, but it would be something just to test out what you may have to adapt to and what you might see in real life. Granted, if things are in the dark, things just have a black silhouette, so that's easy. But daytime or wearing a different clothes or anything else, lights, shadows coming across a target can create different images like this. So it's something to think about. And non-reactive, they don't react to you hitting them, right? Often what you'll have is, you'll hit a target, it'll go down, you don't know if you hit it or not. Sometimes you just don't know. I think that's one thing that happened to Kyle there when he took that first guy out. He went over to check, thinking he hit, maybe not positive, and then he looked to do the call and everything. But something to maybe think about in your mindset is you might not want to run up on your target even if they go down, because they might not be out of action. This is some thoughts. either move on to the next engagement or move on to next things. Don't just something to think about from that. Another lesson learned from that is that first one, he just kind of ran up on him to check him out. Like, might not be the best thing to do. You don't know what they have, you don't know what the tension is, you don't know what their capabilities are. So you don't know if they're fully incapacitated or not. Everybody wants to be the good guy, but maybe just take it a little more slowly. Something to think about in your training or in your mental mindset scenario, and just looking at that and what happened, and kind of think about what you would do to kind of assess. It's dark, it's hard to assess from a distance, but break out a light, assess from a distance, let the other people check him out that were there. You don't want to be just rolling up on a guy that you think you put down. But anyway, moving on to reactive targets, non-reactive. And we've all shot paper, like that. And just mix it up with some different patterns. You could even just spray paint over stuff like that. Putting white, like you could put paper plates. I've used printer paper, things to put over it and then spray paint over it if that's all you got. But being able to paint up some cardboard like this is good. Anything to give you a different visual of what you're going after. Now, if you got some old t-shirts you're getting ready to turn into oil to check your oil or anything, just throw some t-shirts on there on your target. Again, a different pattern, just something to break up and get a realistic view of what you could be engaging, right? Because it's not always going to be slick guys. They could have a bulky jacket, they could have t-shirts, any kind of clothing. It's just something to get you mentally ready for a more realistic scenario. It's just something more. It's that next step. It's, again, we've all probably we're trained again, but mixing it up and throwing different things out there is always beneficial to help your brain get that front sight, that dot, whatever, on the target, engage properly. So just something to think about, something to do. We're doing 6 weeks to chaos as it goes. For some people. For most of us, it won't be, though. Even some of those in the cities, like Steve. Of course, our trainer's probably going to be fine. He'll just be able to avoid it all, which is the best solution. Avoid all the chaos. And most of us have prepared in such a way that avoiding the chaos is the better solution to anything. But just in case you can't. All right. So that's running my mouth for long enough, YouTube. Find the resources you can, use what you got when you can, and do it maybe just a little bit different to help you adapt better in the future. Prep hard, live free.